Hey, thanks for joining me today. Today I'm going to talk about a really cool package, and that is the Ream package. So oftentimes you want to work directly with weather data, and you can do that in R. So instead of going out to a website and pulling in web data and using that for a model, you can actually use that weather data in the Ream package. So first I'm going to load the Ream package. I'm going to load Tidyverse, load Lubridate, ggplot, and Plotly. So when you're working with the Ream package, you want to figure out your state. I live in Colorado, so I'm going to pull that real quick, and basically I'm going to search for Colorado up here. So I'm going to use this Colorado code. So inside this Ream station, I'm going to figure out where in Colorado do I want to pull that weather station from. So when I pull that into the view statement, I get a bunch of different options for all areas in Colorado. I want DIA, so I'm going to use this DIA code right here to actually create my tibble, create my data frame. So I'm going to do that with the Ream measures function. And basically you can put a start and end date to that, but I want to grab all that data. So when I run that, I'm going to run that into the view command again. And this is what my data frame looks like. I get a date called valid. I get longitude and latitude of the weather station. I get the temperature in Fahrenheit. Also get some other readings with like dew point, some gust of wind, and some of this other code with like what it feels like outside. So it's really cool. So what I can do from there is I can group that by the date variable and actually get the daily low. So what I'm doing here is I'm taking that data frame I created called Denver, and I'm mutating a new column, and I'm saying, hey, create this new column called date. I'm using the Lubridate package to transform that into a date column. That's what this year, month, date is doing. And then from there, I'm actually creating a date column. So this is hour, minute, and seconds, but I just want the date. So that's why I'm using as.date here. And I'm grouping that by the date, and then I'm using the summarize function to create a variable called the low, which is taking the min temperature, and I have the na.rm to remove na values. So when I run that code right here, I have my new date column by daily low. So I can also use a really cool function called summarize all to actually do that for every single variable. So I'm going to use this question mark here to pull up summarize all. And you have summarize all, summarize at, and summarize if. So I'm going to show you two different ways to do summarize all. I'm going to do summarize all, and then I'm also going to do this summarize if example. So doing the same exact thing, I'm taking my Denver data frame, creating that date column, grouping that by date, but I'm saying for every single variable, take the mean for that variable. So when I do that, for every one of these variables by date, now I have the mean for that date. So I have the mean like dew point, mean temperature, mean like what it feels like outside, some other weather data. But you can see you have the station columns in A because that's a character variable. So if you don't want that, you can use the actual summarize if down here and say only do this for numeric variables. So if I run that, you can see here all I have is numeric variables, which is pretty cool. So now I can take this weather data and I can actually train it for my model, and then I can take new weather data and predict new weather data based on some variable. Say I want to predict like the number of emergencies in Denver or something like that. I can use this past weather data to kind of forecast that. And here's an example I did, just taking the weather data and actually making a plot of temperature for the min-low. And so I'm taking that Denver weather data, creating that new variable, grouping it by the date, and then I'm also doing the summarize function here for the daily low. And then I'm running a ggplot underneath the hood here, my x on the date and y on the daily low. And then I have a little hack here for ggplotly. If I want to just use a little tooltip, I can actually use this text down here and color that by green and make the size really low so it doesn't show up. So let me show you what that looks like. It's pretty cool. So it's a really cool, just little easy plot. It's not formatted great, but you can kind of see how seasonal the weather data is in Denver. And we had a really cool day, -16 last week. So you kind of see that. It's pretty cool. So I hope you enjoyed this really quick video on working with weather data. And it's really cool. It's really easy just to pull weather data directly in R. You don't have to go to NOAA and say pull weather data. You can just use the Ring package.